This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the social media derby. We've got a three-man pod this week. Kem's ducking the smoke. It's going to be a United sandwich for Jonts, so pause. Enjoy this one. Great screensaver as well. Hold that Arnie slot. But before we get into the episode, for those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, share if you can. For those listening on audio platforms, please follow, give us a 5-star review. All of that helps with the growth of the pod. And of course, the views expressed in the podcast are just for entertainment purposes, just jokes. Anything non-football related is not an actual opinion of any of us. So just jokes and banter. So how are you lads doing? Sorry, I'm sounding a bit Barry White with the old cold voice. But yeah, how are you doing, Nash? How are you doing, Jonts?
I'm feeling good compared to the last few weeks I've been on, you know. It's good to be on when you're in a good mood and you ain't got anything weighing you down. You know? It's a nice feeling. I've missed this. It's been a long time.
I was going to say, man, after the first two, was it like after the Sunderland and Liverpool win, when I was going on the group chat, a fury of voice notes, we earned this, bro. Me and you, Nash, bro. We may not agree on all things United, but we deserve it.
And I don't know how long it will last, but you know, for now, let me smile.
Let's enjoy it while we can. I saw someone else say, United are winning, Liverpool are losing. What else could you ask for? This is the perfect storm for us, so love it.
I saw a beautiful message on Twitter. This guy, you know the Vince McMahon meme where he's crying? It was an Everton fan. Is like, when I talk about this Liverpool losing streak in October 2025 to my grandkids, I was like, yo, even honestly, bro, Everton are joining in. It's a good time for us, man. It's a good time.
Bro, imagine if we've been suffering, what do you think Everton been going through? You know what I mean? There's levels.
They know any better in their history. Let's be real.
Yeah, true that. Jonts, what are you saying, bro? Wearing a fresh United Arsenal bring back jersey. How you doing, bro? You good? Back from China?
You copped in the markets in China.
Shut up. I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm not a Man United fan, so you know I don't know what the roller coaster of emotions that you guys are on at the moment feels like. But I'm seeing Arsenal winning, and I'm seeing Slot just hold L's left, right, and centre. So I could not be happier than I currently am. Hold that.
That was a bit cheeky, though. You said you don't know this roller coaster of emotions. You're an Arsenal fan. You've been suffering as well as we are.
No. I mean, like, I don't know it recently. You know, I've got it in the back of my mind somewhere, and I mean, it was pretty dark back in those days. So I have some empathy, but just the last few years, I'm not sure if I've been as low as you guys have been in terms of feelings.
Yeah, it's different struggles, isn't it? It's definitely different struggles. You've had your heartbreaks, but it's been title races, and ours have been relegation battles and losing to Tottenham in Europa League finals. You know, it's a bit different. But let's go straight into the United game then. Game week 9 on Saturday evening or late afternoon at home to Brighton. Since we didn't have a midweek game, we might as well get through this one first, Nash. We can gloat and be happy before we get into the other jokes categories like Liverpool and Chelsea. But yeah, we win 4-2, up 3-0 going into the last 20 minutes, and then a little bit of a shaky 15 minutes at the end there, getting back Brighton, pulling it back to 3-2 before Brian and Mbumo wraps it up with a really good finish to make it 4-2 at the end. So I'll go with you first, Nash, as the other United fan on the pod. What did you make of the game? And do you think these 3 wins in a row are going to make us adjust our targets for the rest of the season, or do you still think we should just aim for Europe in general?
So a bit of backdrop to the game. I was doing a bit of a beer mile, pub crawl, just to prepare to drown my sorrows. Then I said, you know what? Let me go to this sports bar, just taking the United game and hope for the best. And to my surprise, things are working. And I was pleasantly surprised. He's still dogmatic in his approach to the game. But for once, it seemed like the players were actually responding to the information, the tactics and the instructions given. And for the first time in the 3 games, I think we were on the front foot from the beginning. Throughout, we controlled the game, which is a bit of breath of fresh air. But in terms of like adjusting our targets, had a sneaky look at the table. I was like, oh, was that 6 points? I was like, title race? Nah. But top 4, I'm there now. I'm ready. I'm ready to get my heart broken. I can see a top 4 challenge. But yeah, I'm starting to see some of our big money signings to actually starting to produce, which thank God, because what Rashford's been doing in Barcelona has made it a heavy feeling towards these new signings. But now we're producing. I can start to let that go just a little bit. I'm turning around on this, and I'm slowly turning around on this.
Yeah, you're a fucking freight liner turning in the Suez Canal right now. It's gonna take a little bit of a while before you turn it round, but I like this positive Nash, man. I can get down with it. Jonts, from you as a rival fan watching it, what did you make of the game?
It was enjoyable. I will say that. Like, it was an entertaining game, and I'll say that about you guys is you're not perfectly solid all over the pitch, but the last couple of games you've been good. And I mean, you still are open to some counter-attacks. You're still open to kind of letting a goal in here and there. So it does make for a very enjoyable watch. But I think, yeah, for the most part of that game, you really dominated it. And it was, I don't know, maybe it's just like not naivety, but the fact that like a lot of your players are kind of still trying to gel together. But it does seem like you have still a bit of an issue that even when up the game, it's open. And I mean, had Mbeumo not scored in that kind of last minute, 3-2 would have been the scoreline, and it would have looked a lot closer than it actually was in terms of a game. So I think you're an entertaining watch. You're getting back. You're looking better. I think the big thing is, like, if you just look at last season, what was your main complaint? It was the lack of goals, and you've certainly fixed that. Like, you are able to score, and I'm not going to say easily, but you're able to score far more easily than you were last year. And now I think it's just a question of, okay, can you find a way for that central midfield to bed in a way that doesn't lead to just leaking goals? Because I even think your defense looks good, man. Like, your back three, whatever combination it is, generally speaking, looks all right. Like De Ligt, I know Antony's fucking going on about De Ligt every 5 minutes. He's really happy with him. Obviously, Maguire looks defensively decently solid, and then also just has like that Gabriel gene of just he comes in with late goals constantly. And then obviously Yoro or Shaw, whoever starts kind of next to them, generally speaking, looks okay. I'd argue that Yoro is better than Shaw, and I still think Shaw can be got at, and I don't really like him as that kind of left centre back. But overall, like, defensively, you look good. And then you got Le Mans or whatever his name is, mate. You have a goalkeeper that can come out and catch a ball. Like, this is levels here. So if you think about it, you shouldn't really be conceding a goal. I've just got to believe that it comes from that kind of central midfield area. So if you can sort that out, and then kind of defensively sort out, and stop leaking in goals, then you're just going to be scoring bare goals with your front three, and you'll look a lot more defensively solid. So yeah, and I think it's looking up for you. If I'm a Man United fan, I'd definitely be kind of optimistic about the future. But I do want to ask one question, not to take you off too much, but signing of the season, Baleba had an absolute stinker in that game. What were your thoughts? You still want him, or you're going to leave him at Brentford?
No, I'm going to say a stinker. He was playing for the team that he was expecting to play for. So, he did the job that was expected of him. Man of the match.
But if he's trying to get you man to come after him, then he might not have done a good job. But if he's trying to get the value of himself down, then he's doing a great job. Then you can go in there with a cheeky £40 million bid and you'll get him.
I think this whole thing is like, when it comes to like a late of the transfer season bid that gets rejected, it rarely ever ends well with a player performing to his best abilities for the first 5-6 months of the season, because his head is still elsewhere. He's looking at his paycheck, realizing how underpaid he is and bag he could have gotten. So he's still working through a lot of things, and also level competition. So eventually he's
I
going
don't
to
think he was that bad though, bro.
No, he was good.
Nash, do you think he was that bad? I thought he was okay.
No, Ayari made him look better. Don't get me wrong. Right, out of the two of
Ayari
them,
was
Ayari was significantly worse. But when you're talking about like a Baleba, you're expecting them to kind of pull. No, I understand, but I mean, getting overrun by your fucking midfield is one hell of a feat because your midfield stinks.
I think they were good. I think our midfield was good in this game.
My point was, I think Baleba, he didn't have a good game. You know what I mean? Like, so you'd ideally want him to be out of all of them to have a decent game. And I'm not saying he was the only one that had a bad game. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't impressing, and he got hooked at 59 minutes.
Yeah, but they're already 3-0 down, so.
They got back into it, and he wasn't there.
No, but I agree with your overall point, John, that the midfield is for us generally is a worry. But I have to say, in this game, I thought our midfield was on point, and we overran them because Cunha and Mbeumo kept dropping back into the half spaces, and so it was basically a 4-on-2 for their midfield, which is part of the reason why Baleba was constantly getting swamped. Ayari generally, I think, is a decent player, but he had a proper stinker and hooked. Like he got the ball stolen off him loads of times in really dangerous positions. Obviously got the deflected OG, should have been for Casemiro's goal. So I get it. And I think generally Baleba's form hasn't been great this season. And I think that's more of a concern. But I think in this game, he wasn't that bad. And he's had proper stinkers in other games. But I think it is what Nash has said. I think people haven't really mentioned that. Because he hasn't done an Isak or he hasn't done thrown his toys out the pram, it's quite obvious that he probably did want to come, and he's like probably a bit disappointed he couldn't get the move. He did the little post and delete thing before the United game as well, and that's got everyone chatting. So I think Baleba didn't have the greatest game, but I think I would still go in for him absolutely. Like I'm not gonna not want to get him now because he's had a shaky few months. And I think in this game in particular, our midfield actually did pretty good for once. And the goals that we conceded, I don't think you can really look at the midfield and blame them. I think the Welbeck goal, obviously free kick, I don't really think it was a free kick, to be honest. I think Minte lost the ball already, and that was the ref had a stinker in this game anyway, but we won, so we're not going to moan about it. But he hit that Ahmad one was definitely a pen in the same way that Gyökeres one was at Newcastle, if you remember. Like Ahmad, that guy flicks the ball, but it's still in Ahmad's path. He completely wipes him out. That's a Stonewall penalty. With the free kick, I don't know how Welbeck ends up taking the free kick like on the edge of the box when the foul happened like 10, 15 yards further up the pitch. So, and it wasn't a foul. So, and then the corner, I think Xerxes just obviously not marked his man. And that's a set piece problem less than a midfield problem.
So he's
So I think the goals we conceded weren't like some. I mean, it was worrying that they happened and the lead was being cut down. Like you mentioned, 3-2 would have been a harsh result, really, because I think we deserved to beat them quite clearly. And a 1-goal margin was probably a bit harsh. But now I think I agree with you, though, on the general points, John, about defence looked really good. Luke Shaw probably had one of his best games. He was jumping out and nicking the ball off their midfielders a lot. Yoro was pretty solid as usual, and De Ligt was really good. Lamens, I think he was steady, and I think the key is his influence on the defenders. They don't look as shaky and nervous with him as they do with Bayindir or Onana. I don't think he makes he's not made loads of amazing saves or anything. I just think he looks pretty steady and capable, and I think that's what you need. So I think the blend of having that defensive solidity and the attackers, and Mbeumo obviously is just, he's so efficient, man. You know what I mean? He's just, he gets some chances and he just bangs it in. He's no frills, and he just works his bollocks off, which is great. And Cunha, I just love him, man, as a player. Like, he just drives the ball forward loads. I think he's not going to score as many as Mbeumo, and he might frustrate sometimes, but the way he played against Liverpool, and even in this game, the work rate, the tracking back, the driving with the ball when he had it, he just makes stuff happen. So I really was worried about this Brighton game. and the way we played and the result both matched up to just pleasantly being surprised and impressed with the win. Because I still think we're going to lose games here and there, and we're going to be inconsistent. I like to Nash's point. I'm still jury's out on the system and whether or not we have the right players, because I don't know if we can do that. But
also, this is, don't get me wrong, like the Liverpool win is obviously is class for you lot, right? But at the same time, like you've been in those kind of situations before, right, where you're generally speaking not playing very well, and then you go and get like a big win against a team like that. This win, I think, with Brighton would be arguably more. It'd be more reassuring for me as a Man United fan, because let's be honest, right? Like, there's been a lot said, a lot of your wins coming from like newly promoted teams or really, really bad sides, and you're generally speaking against Brighton, you have a pretty horrible record, and this would be where I would say like this is your first proper win against a mid to like, let's say, Conference Europa League fighting team that usually gets the better of you. So I actually think that this one, to me, solidifies more that you are looking better than the Liverpool result. Because obviously, also bear in mind that Liverpool are on a stinky run, and there's other things that you can say about that. This win against Brighton, I think, is more reassuring that you're on the right track than that win, even in my mind.
No, I agree with you. I think Nash will agree with you. I think most United fans will agree with you. There was the Liverpool win is just like, it's the history, it's the heritage, as we have on the thumbnail and everything like that. And we did that. Amorim got the result at the Etihad last season in a similar fashion. I think even against Arsenal away and a few other big games away, we've performed in a similar way. But as to your point, the Brighton games, this next game against Forest, when we played Bournemouth, and the reason why I was so upset against Brentford was because Brentford is one of the bogey teams, and we failed that one miserably. But this one is one that we did really well, and I think I was really impressed with it, man. And I agree with what Nash is saying. I hope that the reason behind it is that the players are understanding the system and they're able to execute it. But I don't think we have a big enough sample size to know whether that's the case or whether they had one of their good days. And they're having, a series of them. We have to still see more. If we beat Forest, if we can beat Spurs, and that brother can get his haircut finally, then I think my real optimism's gonna be at an all-time high, and I might start saying crazy things. But at the moment, man, let's go for it. Let's go for Champions League. I don't think we should say we must or anything like that. Yeah, but I think we can, man. Teams are out here like Chelsea's defense is looking crazy.
Chelsea are.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I mean, them talking about title races, that's done out. That fourth spot is up for grabs, and you might be able to third if Liverpool continue to stick the fucking gaff out.
I don't know. We could do it, man. We could. I don't think it's crazy. Like in tougher times, we've been able to finish third with Ollie and second with Jose and second with Ollie. And,
we can go the distance.
Yeah, we can do it. But I think for where we have been in the last 18 months, even where we are right now is a real positive, man. So let's just keep the train going. And for once, the signings that we made this last summer, boy, a lot of them are looking like hits.
Even
and we can't say that about. Yeah, Lamans, bro. Look, we've talked about this loads on the pod before as well, me and Johns. Johns knows how harsh I am on goalies. If a goalie is just a boring guy that just doesn't make mistakes and saves the things he should save, and he doesn't even make worldies, I'm happy with that. I'm honestly really, really happy with that. And for the stage we're at, that will do nicely.
Yeah,
if we want to take it to the next level, okay.
But also, just bear in mind, right? We've got board managers out here playing about long throws and the ball in the air all the time. Have a goalkeeper that is commanding in the air and can deal with that stuff, as opposed to kind of cowering in the corner and falling into his own net like Vicario or someone. That's half the battle itself, right? Because of course, people are going to have shots, and you're going to need to. You'd hopefully want a goalkeeper that is a good shot stopper as well. But I'll be honest with you, man. I love the fact that the thing that I love about Raya the most is that he comes out and claims balls, especially considering the fact that he's a relatively small goalkeeper as well. So I was worried about his ability to come out and do that. But to have a commanding goalkeeper when everyone is obviously looking heavily into set pieces is a big thing, man. And if you look around the league, you know, as Kanye used to say, how many of us? There ain't many goalkeepers that can come out and claim a ball, man. There's about 3.
There's not many.
From what I can remember.
There's Raya, and the other guy that we were looking to sign, Emi Martinez, is high up on the stats, and then that's about it.
Maybe
even
Pope
Alisson's
as well.
stats maybe Pope's decent, but like we're talking, there's quite a big chasm between Raya, Emi, and then the rest. Like the rest are not bad in that next bracket, but the claiming of crosses, Raya's I think number 1, and Emi's not far behind, and then the rest are quite a bit behind. So you can tell that's super important with obviously what the next segment we're going to talk about with all the teams playing long balls and low blocks. As a famous bald Dutchman complained about in recent weeks, you need a goalie to come out and handle it, and a lot of teams don't have that. So let's go on to the Liverpool segment. Then we can all start cheesing and smiling on this one together at the same kind of level. I think. Yep, well done, Jonts. Let's bang that out one more time. Liverpool. Kem's not here. He's ducking the smoke, and to be honest, he's going to get cooked for his team and for his predictions that he's not sent through. So he's in big trouble all the way around for this ep. But yeah, Liverpool taking the 3-2 L away at Brentford on the weekend. I don't know how that game was 3-2, by the way. Brentford absolutely peppered them. So I feel like that scoreline was a bit harsh on Brentford, to be fair. And then they really got peppered during the midweek. I know it was the youngsters, but blimey. Palace absolutely scorched them. 3-0 at Anfield. Beautiful scenes. Yeremy Pino, Ismail Assar, God, it was actually so easy. It was unreal to bat Liverpool like that at Anfield. I don't think I've seen a team, even if it was a bunch of youngsters. Wasn't it in the Carabao Cup final that they keep hammering Chelsea about winning with youngsters or whatever? Palace didn't let that happen. Absolutely blazed them 3-0. So what are we talking now? 6 L's in 7. If you look at the last 6 domestic games, because that Frankfurt one was in Europe, it's 6 straight defeats in domestic league and cup competitions. What did you guys make of the game? I'll start with you, Nash. What did you make of the games? And do you think they're officially now in crisis? Because I see some Liverpool fans starting to really lose it.
I don't think they were this bad during the Hodgson era, man. These are dark times they're going through. And the thing, the albatross that's hanging off their neck is the amount of money they spent in the summer. It's like, whenever you do that huge outlay of cash, it rarely ever ends up well. But to make it so public and blatant, like every single result that goes against them, it's just another compounding issue. And yeah, I actually don't know what's going on with this team. I've struggled to pinpoint what's going on, because even some of the lineups is like, okay, on paper, this team should handily take care of this match, but every single time they just keep getting peppered. Actually, I'm left speechless for once.
Yeah, in a good way, though, right? Like, obviously,
of course,
we love it. Johns, what do you make of it, bro? Because, you know, I feel like Liverpool-Arsenal is the like prevailing beef that we have in the group chat. I try and jump in, you know, when I can, but obviously United haven't really given me the weaponry to be able to properly go toe-to-toe until recent times. So you got to be loving this, man, because obviously you guys were, I guess, title competitors going into the season. So what do you make of these games in particular, and are Liverpool in crisis?
So the first thing I'll say is, unlike Nash, I am definitely not speechless. When it comes to like the fact that they're in crisis or not, yes, they're in crisis because they're the holding champions of the Premier League, and they spent 450 million plus this summer, broke the British transfer record twice. Got essentially all the pieces that they were telling us they needed, right? Everyone keeps talking about Arsenal and Gyökeres. Oh, you got the pieces now. Don't chat to me about anything. Don't chat to me about Liverpool, right? You were complaining about Nunes all day long. Now you've got the best, let's say the second best striker in the league, essentially. You got one of the best, let's say, cams or kind of up and coming players in the world, over Bayern and all these other man. You got the best, what a lot of people believe to be the best left back from last season. And you got Jeremy Frimpong, who's like quite clearly one of the highest rated right backs in the world, if not like full backs in the world, right? Taking out these first however many games. I know people are maybe going a bit harsh on him now, but they got all the pieces they needed. They keep telling me about Marmaduke being a really, really good goalkeeper as well, just in case Alisson gets injured, this, that, and the other. They tell me that Van Dijk's the best Premier League, centre back of all time. They tell me that Salah is, better than Henry. They tell me all these different things. They tell me Szoboszlai is the new Gerrard and that he's like such a good player. They tell me that they've got a World Cup winning Alexis McAllister. They tell me they've got the best DM in the league with Gravenberch. So I don't want to hear anything about anything. So when we talk about all of that stuff being combined, 6 L's in a row, bro, did they even lose 6 times in the whole of last season? No.
I just feel like
we're talking about,
it's actually just dawned on me.
We're talking about 6 L's in a row, right? Yes, some of them are against good teams, but some of them is against like teams that they should be comfortably beating as well. So they're definitely in crisis. And the fact that like certain Liverpool fans are coming out and saying, if Slot doesn't get it together, he's gone. How you go from winning the league and the cigars and getting hammered and, you gave us a guard of honor here and there and whatever else. And now your ball Dutchman's, he's going to be the flying Dutchman, mate. He's going somewhere else soon. So I don't want to hear any of that. So yeah, they're definitely in crisis. And I mean, long may it continue. I mean, in terms of like putting my finger on what it is, I think it's everything, man. Like I heard someone try and say like, okay, if you had to blame the 3 different things of the manager, the new signings, or like the old guard, like the Dons, who would you blame? Not one of the 3 have been good. The manager clearly hasn't figured out the right like style of football that fits with this team. He's chopping and changing the lineup like every 5 seconds, putting in this guy, putting in that guy, dropping Salah, playing Salah, doing all kinds of madness, right? Playing Ekitike and Isak at the same time, all of these different things. He's now even tried to play the kids and he's still getting battered. Doesn't matter what he does with the team, they lose. Then you look at the new signings. They're trying to tell me that like Wirtz is starting to look good. Brother, he's not, for 120 million, don't tell me he's starting to look good when he gets no goals, no assists, and seemingly has no effect on the game. Isak looks like he's still on holiday. Ekitike, they've somehow even ruined his form. Like he looks good when he comes on, but he's not scoring. Right? So you combine all of that and it's like, okay, what are these new signings doing? Because it's clear that Kirkes is also, I mean, he got a goal, yeah, great. But he's defensively awful. And it looks like Van Dijk doesn't trust this guy as far as he could throw him. Then you add on Frimpong. I'm not even sure if I've seen him play longer than about 45 minutes. So they're all doing terribly. And then you look at the old guard, you've got one man twerking. You've got one man removing Liverpool from his bios. Like the only thing that they're looking at positively right now is Szoboszlai. And he's not really, he slapped a free kick past my team. But outside of that, he ain't enough to pull this whole team up with him. We're not talking about like a one-man team, Salah, Haaland type thing. He's not going to be able to do it. So if that's all they've got to hang their hat on, all 3 of those different parts that I was talking about are shocking. So they're definitely in crisis, and they've got to be asking questions to their manager. Right? My man needs to, John Henry or whatever his name is, needs to get on a plane, needs to come and give Slot a serious talking to, and figure out what's going on. Because, I mean, if they don't at least challenge for the title, I don't want to hear nothing about Arteta or Arsenal ever again, because these lot have been awful. And even as bad as we have been, I ain't seen us lose 6 in a row in a long time. So, once again...
This is Jason Momoa, and I'll be your finance professor today. Welcome to Banking Smarter 101 with Chime. Bam! First lesson, sign up for Chime and set up direct deposit. You'll be joining millions of members banking fee-free. Second lesson, get cash back on eligible purchases while building credit and a higher APY on your savings. That's how you bank smarter this season. Fa-la-la-la-la, class dismissed. Join Chime today.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and a secure Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees chime.info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secured Chime Visa credit card purchases. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn about credit building and more at chime.com.
Hold that.
Bro, no, from what you're just saying, I just looked at Arne Slot's resume, and this is a case of a man feeling himself and not realizing where he's at. Because, he managed at Campbell, AZ, Feyenoord, and Liverpool. So this is his first top team. He's never been given this many accolades, this much attention, this much pressure, and he clearly doesn't know how to handle it. You can see him crumbling, the way he's talking in post-game conferences.
Excuses. Oh my God. How long have we got?
He's used to the Dutch league. He's not used to teams fighting back. Bro. He's not built for this, clearly. And this is one of those tests. Either you come through this and become an elite manager, or you just crumble down and go back to where he was before this. This is an inflection point. And I just don't think he knows how to handle this.
No, I think you're right, man. I think everyone was so like understandably like praising of him last season to win your title in your first season. They're sticking on Arsenal because obviously Arteta's been second quite a few times. He's come in, he's won it. But I think a lot of people overlook what you're talking about in that he came in and he kind of, I don't think he had the gravitas to come in and he wasn't a big name manager, so he couldn't come in and be like, I'm going to rip up Klopp's team straight away. So I'm just going to go with what we got.
Yeah, he was babied. Yeah. They let him keep the same team, the same structure. He just had to carry on what was there for the last season. That was Klopp's team. He didn't actually get that much time.
And this is him now.
Yeah, it's him now.
Well, this is what we're really seeing now. Now, obviously, you can't say last season it's not like he didn't do anything. He did do something. He's not a complete substitute teacher, but this is the real season where, like you say, you're going to be able to really judge him as a manager on this kind of level. Because, like you said, Feyenoord, to win a title with them is impressive, but it's not a massive league, and we've seen managers come from Holland.
All the teams that haven't been anything.
Yeah, we've been burned, man. We've had our own bored Dutch manager come in, and he dominated much more than Slot did, and he was the hottest manager on the scene. And look what happened to him.
He started feeling himself. Then the pressure came in. He couldn't handle it.
Yeah. And obviously, there is a difference. He won a league and Ten Hag didn't. He won some other trophies, but still the comparison is there. Like what he's saying is mad. In every single press conference, he's talking absolute shite in every single one. His last one was he was now saying, look at City's squad after this after this Crystal Palace loss. He was like, I looked at City's squad and they changed 7 or 8 players, but still their team was super strong and they were able to bring this player and that player off the bench and they had XYZ player. And we don't have that. Our squad, people think our squad is big because we spent a lot of money, but actually we've only got 16 players or something like that. And he's talking absolute shite. In my mind, he should have never put the kids in for this Crystal Palace game, right? This was a perfect opportunity at home in a game where the pressure's off a little bit compared to a league game. Go with a stronger team, try and get the dub, and like just address this downturn as soon as you can. You can't afford to just put the kids in and just add another L. You got to stop it, because look what happened with City. I don't think any of us could have predicted last season City would have won 1 in 13 or whatever that crazy run was. Remember when they just kept losing?
Yeah,
and we were all like, how has this happened? You have to stop it, man. But it can happen. If you look at what happened to City, it can happen to a great manager. So like we've just mentioned, Slot isn't on that level. So why are we expecting him to do anything that Pep couldn't do last season? But I'm just shocked that also at the players level, like, I do rate Van Dijk as I rate Van Dijk as one of the best defenders, but he the way he's been leading has been diabolical. He's cussing out Kerkez. I know Kerkez has been shocking, but you've got to try and help players when they're struggling. You can't just batter them. That's not what a good leader does. And I think it's also, it's contributed to them playing so badly. I'm sure of it.
Also, bear in mind, I feel like we've got to give City a bit more credit in that they lost a Ballon d'Or winning central midfielder. These men have lost, yes, Alisson, fair enough. but they've got their Van Dijk, they've got their Salah, they've got all the dons that they need. So they've really, like, in my personal opinion, they've got no excuse, right? We can talk about transition, we can talk about all these different things, but let's be honest, he's the one that made the choices about, where people need to be playing. He didn't have to go full in on Kirkez straight away. He obviously was forced not to go full in on Frimpong. And let's be honest, Robertson, I know that he wasn't as good last season, but he was still good enough. You look at Conor Bradley, like on the back end of Trent, everyone was saying Conor Bradley's a better defender anyway, so why do I care? So really, they didn't have to go and rip up their whole team, even with Wirtz, right? Like if he was a strong manager, and I think he could have been, given the fact that he's just coming off of winning the Premier League, he could have said to Wirtz, you know what, I know I paid 150 or 120 million for you, but you're going to ride bench for a little bit. We're going to bed you into the team. We're going to see how things go, right? Yes, I understand with Isak, it was maybe a bit different, but you had the perfect start from Ekitike to say, you know what, you haven't had a pre-season. We're going to bed you in as well. You're going to come on every now and then, but Ekitike is the main man for now until you show me in training and you show me on the pitch that you can really, really, compete with that and really hit the ground running in the same way that Ekitike did. So really, it was his choice to transition so many players at the same time and try and change the team up so many different times. And it's quite clear that now it's almost too late to go back to what the team was like last year, because they've kind of lost that gel between all of them. And now, even if he does, start Robertson or start Ekitike, it doesn't seem to be making very much of a difference to the team.
He's lost him.
Exactly.
Because it's like the whole point of football is meant to be a merit-based system. So if Ekitike is scoring, he says, I've done everything I can to start. So if Isak comes in and he's not performing and somehow still starting, that clearly means you don't respect merit. So why am I going to trust you and perform for you when I come off the bench? He's lost him.
And I mean, the Isak thing, it stinks from so many different angles. Why this guy wasn't training and keeping himself fit and ready for the move? Like every side, like if I was Liverpool and I'm trying to get this player, and obviously he's been a bagsman for the last 2 seasons, up there with Haaland as some of the best strikers in the league. If he's refusing to train at all, I would probably just move on and not go and sign that player.
Yeah, that's a character flaw.
Look at him, bro. And especially if you've also gone and got Ekitike, right? Like, I would just say, sorry, Isak, you've screwed it, man. Like, now you've screwed it. I can see from the way you're behaving, this is not the type of player that I want to bring to my club. And I'm gonna ride or die with this youngster that I've just also, by the way, spent 90 million euros on. So, it's a fair chunk of money as well that I'm backing on him. And just sack it off. Go get Guehi. Go get another defender, address midfield, address other areas that now look like they were missed out. But one thing I won't accept before we move on to the Chelsea segment is I'm not going to have Liverpool fans say now, retrospectively, hindsight 2020, that they're in transition. They're not in transition. No. The
squad last year was still reasonably young.
Yeah, they fucked it. This is not a transition. No, it's not a transition, man. They fucked it. That's what's happened.
And now Isak, I'm looking at him sideways because this is the second time he's moved to a big club and the lights have gotten too bright. Dortmund as well. So now I'm thinking, is he a big fish in a small pond or can he really be the main man at a big club?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a genuine question to ask, bro. I think and also I think maybe this is looking too deep in it, but obviously Arsenal are big fans of Isak, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's also a reason why Arteta decided, you know what? I'll go for Swedish Lukaku instead, and I'll go for Eze, and I'll go for the other players instead, because at least what you can't say about Gyökeres is, forget about some of the things that people criticize him for. He works really hard. He contributes in other ways if he's not scoring goals or doing whatever, and he's pretty much fit as a fiddle, right? Like, he was also kind of on strike, but he came to Arsenal and started playing pretty much almost immediately. I'm assuming that's because he's a proper professional and he was keeping himself in shape and training and doing stuff like that, right? And arguably he had probably more on the line because he's a bit older and this was like his big one move that he was going to get. So I don't know, man. I think, Liverpool in the light, it looks like things are a mess. And you know what? We love to see it. So let's hope it keeps rolling on because, F Liverpool. Let's go on to the Chelsea segment then. They were also in Carabao Cup. they managed to win 4-3 against Wolves. What a game. You mentioned it, Johns, at the time. I watched the highlights after. Absolutely batshit crazy, that game. I don't know how that ended up that way, but Chelsea get through just about 4-3. But on the weekend prior to that, Reece was struggling, bro. And he might come and join us in a bit, but he was struggling. Beating Sunderland at home, not for everyone. They lose 2-1. That last goal that Talby scored, honestly, some of the worst defending I've seen. And I mean, even in the Wolves game, some of the worst defending I've seen. Chelsea definitely got big issues with the defensive stuff. I'll start with you, Johns. What did you make of the games? And have you seen this stuff that Chelsea apparently are not that happy with Maresca, and they're already kind of sounding out my Spanish namesake, Andoni Iraola from Bournemouth, to maybe become their manager? Do you think that would be a good move for them?
Yeah, I'll start on the games. Like, I think the Sunderland game, they didn't deserve to win that anyway. Like, I don't think they played very well.
Sunderland were good.
And I mean, yeah, outside of the early Garnacho goal, I thought Sunderland really deserved to win that. And I'd argue that like Sunderland kind of bullied them throughout that game. And I think the final goal was a great example of that. Robbie takes it down and just holds it for about 8 seconds like he's just sat in the corner. I don't know what Chalobah's doing, but he just decides, you know what, I'm just going to stand here and wait, and we'll just wait and see if anybody comes behind me, and I'll be perfectly positioned for that. And he's not even perfectly positioned for that. So if you're going to wait all that time, at least make sure you fucking mark the man and you don't lose your runner. And then they end up scoring, and that's all she wrote for Chelsea. So yeah, horrible result for them from the point of view of just like looking at it on paper, newly promoted side, they should be winning that game, especially at home. So I mean, I've got to say, like, title race dead and buried. If they were ever in one in the first place, that's done. And then the game against Wolves, mate, that was almost like your game against Brighton, but if your arse just completely fell out, because they were winning that comfortably, right? I was watching a couple of watch-alongs where they were 3-0 up, like certain men were just like sitting back, enjoying their lives, thinking, looking at what was happening to Tottenham, looking at what was happening to Liverpool, and just laughing to themselves. And then Wolves just turn it on, man. And yeah, there was some awful defending from that Chelsea team. But I mean, at this point, shouldn't we come to expect them? That happened quite frequently at this point. They want to tell me that defending on the back end of last season. But man, when I think of Chelsea in recent times, defending is not one of the things I think about. That is not one of their current strong suits. Yeah, they've got injuries, yeah, whatever else, but they've got not an awful goalkeeper, but a pretty bad goalkeeper who throws in a lot of clangers. And they've got a back four that just, I mean, it doesn't matter who you bring into that team, there doesn't appear to be any stability. So, I mean, outside of just playing Reece James at centre-back every single week, I don't know really how they change that. So, overall, stinky from Chelsea. They were lucky to get the win against Wolves. And I think from their point of view, yeah, there are serious questions that have got to be asked. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the Maresca question, I honestly feel like there is not a falling out, but I don't think Maresca and those sporting directors must get on at all, because it's quite clear that they make purchases. I'm assuming they're going through this investment strategy type of thing where investing in players, put them in the window, and someone good to buy them afterwards. And my man just says, no, I'm not playing them. I don't care. You know, you can give me Buonanotte on loan, I'm not playing him. You can give me so-and-so on loan, I'm not playing him. I don't care. I'm going to play the team that I want to play. I'll play all the players that you don't care about, and I'm going to do what I need to do. And I don't see how that could ever work, right? Like, if you're a sporting director and you're buying this person, and this person, and then the manager just says, I'm not playing any of those players, I'm imagining the sporting director is not going to be very happy, right? And then if you're a Maresca, you're telling my man, get me a bloody striker, get me a goalkeeper, get me this, get me that. You're probably looking at the sporting directors like, you lot are a bunch of morons. So from my point of view, like, I don't think this relationship is going to work out. Whether he gets sacked soon or he leaves eventually, I don't think this relationship will work out or really bear any kind of fruit in terms of a serious trophy, all right? No holiday trophies, no Conference League trophies where they play teams that have 1,000 different letters in their name and X's and Z's next to each other and all kinds. No, right? That's not serious to me. So, yes, I think there are serious questions asked of Maresca, but at the same time, Maresca's surely looking at this and thinking, I'm a serious guy. I want to win trophies. I want to have a proper team. I want to build a team. I want to do what other teams, other managers are doing. And you lot keep on feeding me absolute crap. So I mean, if another job comes available, don't be surprised if Maresca throws his hat into the ring, because Chelsea are not currently a serious team that look like they are going after trophies, man. They genuinely look like, Arsenal back in the old days when we were happy with fourth. We're happy to just be in and around it. We're happy to keep getting the money in from Champions League. That kind of feels like what the stage that Chelsea are at with these new owners.
Because I think in terms of Maresca, it was clearly a breakdown in understanding of the roles of the coach and the institution. Because they clearly brought him on as a young up-and-coming coach that they could tell who to play, what tactics and formations to do, and he would just be the coach and not like a manager who'd ask for certain players and signings. He was just basically there to steward the young people to get to a point where they could sell them on. And he clearly has a different idea of his career and he wants to progress. So yeah, you're right. There's clear breakdown in the understanding of the relationship. And you're right. I don't see this ending well at all. Because from their perspective, he came from Leicester. So there was clearly someone we could guide you in how we want our team to play. We choose the formation and you just set it up. And he obviously thinks, oh, I can do so much more. And that friction is clearly showing on the field. It's not going to end well.
Have you heard what he's been saying in press conferences as well? I don't know if he's going to be filling the ownership with confidence. He said, my man's saying, like, I don't really know how to play against a back five. Didn't prepare for that. Like, if you're a manager, I mean, come on. The PR training's got to do something for you. You can't be coming out here saying, I don't know how to play against a back five. I'm trying to figure it out. Like,
again, we're talking about experience.
That's probably not what them... Exactly.
We're talking about experience even with the Arne Slot thing. He didn't win the league with Leicester. He struggled to get the promotion. He barely got by. So it's like, even in terms of experience and accolades, he never was a top tier and showed that much promise. So once again, he's out of his depth. And especially with a team like Chelsea with that big a squad, you needed someone with much more experience to guide that team through.
No one with experience will take that job, though. That's the double-edged sword they're in because of the way they're set up. That's probably why they're going for Iraola, to be honest. Obviously, beyond the fact
he looks... what to do, and another guy won't kick up a fuss about signings.
Yeah, but I mean, beyond the fact he looks class, right? And he's done an amazing job with Bournemouth. And when things were looking very ropey for us, a lot of people threw his name in the ring along with Glasner and other people like that. He's like one of the hottest managers in the league.
Because they have a similar thing. It's sports and data analytic driven team, and the coach just coaches. He has no say in the signings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the point I was trying to get to, is I think that's probably why they're looking at him as well, because of the things that you and Johnson both mentioned about maybe there not being alignment and fit between him and because they don't forget they've got two sporting directors. They've not got one like a normal team. They've got two, so they already got more voices in that department than you would normally have. So they've got two of these guys, ex-Brighton guys. I think one of them at least is, potentially two. They've got like 2 or 3 head scouts. They've obviously got all the data people and the private equity people in the background crunching all the numbers and doing all of this stuff. And it's a much bigger project than just a regular football project. So I can see why Maresca, without enough experience, I think he's also kind of got a very short temper. So I don't think he's the most like amiable to work with. He looks pretty prickly pretty much all the time, right? So I don't think he's gonna. You might see out the season if Chelsea manage to pick up a bit of form and stay in that top 4 picture. But I wouldn't be shocked if they just cutthroat, just, after a bad result or after Maresca says something slightly dodgy, they just cut him, and because they've already tapped Iraola up. The one thing I will say to you about the back five thing, Johns, though, that's Garnacho tax. He's not used to Garnacho leaking the teams out and the information, so he probably had no idea that all of his tactics were going to be out there.
Probably been up to his old tricks already.
Roberto's been out here, man. Roberto's been out here sharing their lineups, I'm sure, with the journos, and Sunderland probably thought, you know what, we'll tweak it. We'll throw a curveball in there. They'll never see it coming. And to be honest to them, fair dues. It worked like a charm. Like, to be honest, against us, they also did do the same thing. I want to mention that, right? Where after we were 2-0 up and we were actually kind of battering them, they changed to a back five in the first half, and they brought on an extra man and kind of matched us man for man, and they kept it to 0-0 for the rest of the game. So I think Maresca probably should have been a bit more prepped, but I do think he's not used to Garnacho's family out here sharing all of his team news and tactics before the game. But he better start getting used to it, because that's going to keep happening throughout the whole rest of the season with leagues. Because we've only just sorted our leagues now.
I mean, there's one other thing I want to talk about. Do we need to talk about Chelsea's discipline problem? Genuinely, we're talking about Liverpool being a run of 6 L's. These men are on a run of 6 red cards, and Liam Delap was on the pitch for 29, 27 minutes and got his first and second yellow within the space of 7 minutes or whatever. And I mean, Maresca's coming out afterwards saying, "What the hell is that guy doing?" But he can't be just blaming it on the player every time, because it's happening every single week.
Yeah, this is a coaching problem. It has to be.
Yeah.
But man, like, how many more can they get? Like, there was a big stink made of other teams doing this, that, and the other. Like, guys, the amount of red cards that they've got is like more or double, triple what a normal team gets in a whole season. And they've done it in the space of 10 games.
I think it comes back to the size of the squad. There's not enough minutes to go around, so people are much more eager, they're a lot more forceful and aggressive to try and make an impression, and old discipline goes out the window. Because you can't really manage that big a squad, and you normally discipline about 12 to 13, 14 players. And with this, everyone's trying to make an impression, and that usually ends up going terribly. Or maybe I'm giving them excuses, but I'm just trying to figure out. What's going on.
I think you're right, man. But I think you're both right. I think also Johns is like, the manager's got to do something. The manager's got to pull them aside, and it's okay if you've got like one hothead, right? Like, we've got a Casemiro, for example, that we know at any point he can do some dumb shit and he can get a red card, and we kind of just roll with the punches. But we don't expect any of our other players to move in that way. But to Johnson's point, the 6 red cards. I don't think anyone in there is like got 2 red cards. It's 6 different players all getting red cards for stupid different reasons that just lead me to truly believe there is an ill-disciplined thing, like you're saying, Nash. Maybe they're not listening to the instruction. Maybe they're just frustrated, especially the ones who are coming on as a sub and not getting much game time, saying, F this manager, I'm just going to, take out my anger on the pitch. But there's an issue there. And they've obviously got a lot of young players too, so they don't really have anyone in the team that can be like a manager on the field to actually just pull them and say, hey, stop moving mad. It's like, you're on a yellow card, don't do that.
Yeah, the captain
they just
is
keep
25
doing
years
dumb
old,
stuff.
like Enzo. He's a young G.
He's an idiot as well. Like let's be honest, he's also not the calmest head, should I say? Not an idiot, but you've seen Enzo lose his head plenty of times, right? So it's not even like they have that Thiago Silva in the squad, or even if it's a young G that's got a bit more composure that can say to them, like, chill, you know what I mean? We need to stay strong. They don't have that in the team. So that is when you go for this young squad, I guess that's part and parcel that you may have this problem, but you then need to get a manager that can actually get hold of them properly. And the more we talk about it, the more I think this Iriola stuff is probably something we should go to the bookies and put some cash on, to be honest, because I think
he's all about discipline. He don't take nonsense.
Yeah, but he can fit into the squad, right? And look at what he's done. I think he can work for them. All right, let's go on to the Arsenal section then, John, so you can finally gloat about your 2 wins. So you beat Brighton in the Carabao Cup 2-0. Again, with a lot of youngsters in the team. Max Dowman gets his debut. Wanyeri scores a nice goal. Saka comes on. I'm not sure really why. Near the end of the game, you kind of were quite comfortable at 1-0, but he gets a goal anyway and makes it 2-0. And then also you beat Crystal Palace on the weekend 1-0. Eze scores against his old team. Set piece FC, ole ole. 3 goals, no goals conceded, only a handful of shots conceded. What did you make of the games, bro? And do you think there's now some chat around this defense obviously being so strong? Do you think that they can get in the all-time best EPL defense conversation at some point, or are we jumping the gun?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start on the games. I think the game against Crystal Palace was not the best watch. I'm going to say that. they obviously came out. I'm not going to like discredit them and say that they came out and tried to like stifle us and low block us and whatever else, but they came out with a pragmatic approach. They didn't come out to just, go crazy out there. I think it's a smart decision to make. And at the end of the day, we had a really tough job kind of breaking them down outside of Eze's goal. And the set piece ole thing off of that goal is mental when you actually look at the goal. It was a failed set piece that gets like half cleared out, comes back in, and then he bangs it into the bottom corner. So yeah, that's mental to me. But yeah, it wasn't a great watch. But again, I don't really care as long as we get the win. These are good teams. They know how to play against us. It's not as if like it's a massive secret of how you play against like a high possession team. And I'm just happy that we're able to break them down. I don't really care who gets the goal or what happens as long as we get that goal and we win. So overall, I'm happy with that in terms of like the defensive performance to, stifle them, because let's be honest, we saw them put 3 in against Liverpool yesterday. Or the day before, whenever it was. Like, they're a good team. They're a good attacking team. They score a lot of goals, and Glasner's a really good manager. So overall, I can't say I'm anything but happy with that. And then obviously the game against Brighton, I was actually somewhat worried when I saw the lineup, because we were playing quite a lot of youngsters. We were pretty much our kind of second choice defense, if you would call it, even though I know everyone said that we've got a really strong second choice defense and a lot of depth. But, when I'm seeing Bulgard and Marino starting the midfield with Neri, obviously I'm worried. Obviously, we've been pushing and saying, Arteta, you've got to, take these cup competitions a bit more seriously, because at the very least, to one of them, you want to be around. So to see that lineup go out there, Kepa in goal, I still can't get over the PTSD of seeing him in our goal, despite whatever performances he might have. But yeah, it was a really pretty convincing performance, to be honest with you. And I was really happy with the result in the end. I think the play that led up to that first goal was class. And to see the Marino, Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly link up is a weird sight. But I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Marino looks like he's a pretty big character and a pretty useful character in the dressing room. So I'm happy about that too. And yeah, I can't say much about that other than I'm just generally happy with the performance. Obviously, he always brings almost a tear to my eye when I see Lewis-Skelly on as well, because I'm such a big fan of his. And I think he's almost put no foot wrong for us outside of the kind of red card that he got last season.
Yeah, he's been relegated this season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, like, you can't take any prisoners when it comes to wanting to go and win a league, right? And when you've got Calafiori just literally slapping goals in left, right, and centre and defending really, really well, it's easier to say to the 18-year-old, 19-year-old, like, mate, you're going to have to wait maybe a year or so, like, just give it time, but we'll give you games in the cups and that. So, yeah, I'm really happy to see him come on and play. And, I mean, going forward, man, I can see that he's a central midfielder, because
I keep saying, I was saying it last season to
his ability on that ball, his ability on the ball, and I know Ant says he's like ungainly when he runs. I can see that, but you ain't getting the ball off him. Like, you are not going to get the ball off him once he starts running with it, right? Like, yeah, the close is amazing. He's also got this really good knack inside. He always gets his body in between the defender and the ball, so he's never really getting like nicked or like a little steal here and there. It seems that he's always able to be in a position to either get a foul or to play the ball afterwards. So, like, really, really pleased with him. And then on your question around the defense, I'm not going to go too big on it. My general standpoint is this is a really, really good defense. It's the best one in the league right now. But from my point of view, you don't start getting into any conversations about the best of this, the best of that, unless you do it for a long time and you get trophies, right? At the end of the day, I can't call out Van Dijk and whoever else about, not having the best centre-back pairing in the league and say, oh, it's because of longevity. You weren't there as long as Rio and Vidic were. You weren't there as long as, Ivanovic and Terry, or Carvalho and Terry, whoever you want to choose. I can't say that and then come and try and say, oh, Gabriel and Saliba are the best centre-back pairing in all of Premier League history, right? I think they've got to keep going. I think in general, that defence has to stay strong as it is with Raya in the back. And it, much like you described before about, and what you like about goalkeepers, what I like about my defense is stability. I don't want to see flashy stuff. I don't need to see last ditch tackles. I don't need to see people throwing their heads into the way of the ball and getting knocked out. None of that. I just need to see stability and consistency and a good structure. And so far, they've given me everything that I've asked for so far. So, yeah, we'll see where we go in the future. It's going to need at least a few more years and at least a few more titles to get anywhere near the conversation with people like Rio and Vidic. But right now, if I had to choose another defence that currently exists today in the league, I would not choose anyone but us. So, long may it continue. Raya deserves a lot of credit. All of our backline deserve a lot of credit. People like Ben White deserve a lot of credit as well, because it can't be easy to go from being essentially one of the better players in that defence to not even get into the team. So, yeah, really, really happy to see it. And, I mean, Hincapié Mosquera, man. This defensive dynasty might go on for a long time.
I will also say, in terms of like historic defensive teams, I was like, the game has changed so much. I was like, to be a really good defense now, you always have to make room for that. The attacking teams are usually better. Attacking play is so much more progressive and dynamic. So even if you have the best centre back pairing, you will always concede more goals now than you would have done 10 years ago. So that in terms of historic, I would say they're up there right now in terms of ability and performance wise, but the results wise, it won't be able to compete to 10 years ago. But yeah, I'll say
we might be able to talk about it like a peak level, right? But even that, I don't like that argument of saying, "Oh, at their peak, who would you take?" Because at the end of the day,
the game
I don't
was
think in
different.
peaks, man. Exactly. I think in long-term longevity, especially when we talk about defenses, right? Like one flash in the pan good year of a defense, and that's Nottingham Forest last year. I don't care. Like, what does that mean to me? Like,
yeah, you're right.
John, the only thing I would say is it's not a flash in the pan. I know what you're saying. You need to win leagues, but Gabriel and Saliba, since the moment Saliba got back in the team after his loans, and those two have been together, been mustard since then.
Yeah, because like Gabriel the banter. Yeah, Gabriel was the banter centre back for like 6 months, hair transplant and the teeth. Saliba was a loan, multiple years. People thought, oh, he's not going to make it. He's going to be sold, and now there's the best centre back. I'll say best centre back pairing in the world. I'm trying to think.
I think so. Across all leagues as a pairing, yes. I definitely think so.
Nah, not feeling it.
Man.
I just think because the English league, right, is a defensively more physical league, right? So even I think if you look at like Real Madrid defense, don't get me wrong, they're a really good defense, but like, are they coming up against man like Mateta and these lot like week in, week out? I'm not sure they are. So
best centre back in the world on form.
Yeah, no, I still think there's arguments to be had about like the best centre back, like individual centre back.
Yeah, but
talking about, like, the most complete player and stuff. But yeah, in terms of like the pairing and the stability between the two of them, like I don't think you can get better at the moment. The chemistry between them as well, and especially when I heard Gabriel come out into that press conference recently, and I'm realizing my man barely speaks English, which again, no discredit to him because he speaks bare languages more than me.
No hablo
English. Like my man's. He's been here for ages, and I heard Matías Cunha speak the other day, and my man speaks flawless English, and yet Gabriel is struggling to put a fucking word together. So
which makes no sense, bro.
You know, I don't know. They must just have like some telepathic. Yeah, they must just have like some telepathic sense or whatever. Bro, I'm saying that they must be speaking French. Yeah, they've got to be speaking French because Gabriel played in France before, and I've heard that he can speak French.
I've heard him speak French.
Maybe that's where it's coming from. But unless Raya speaks French, I don't know what fuck's going on. How they're talking to each other? They must just have like hand signals or whatever that they're communicating.
No, they all speak Spanish.
They probably all speak Spanish too. Let's be real. They're probably the only language they don't want to speak in is English, to be fair. Apart from Raya, he sounds like he's basically from London, which is hilarious. No, but I would probably broaden out your. You know what? Centre back, I think it's undeniable. Best pairing in the world. Like to Nash's point, there might be if you individualize that position, there might be a defender that's better than one of them. But I would even say Gabriel's up in that conversation really high too.
I thought Saliba's in Saliba, but Gabriel's better.
But nah, Gabriel's better, man. And it's for the reasons that John's just said a bit earlier. I think maybe talent-wise, potential Saliba will go there. He's a bit younger. He can get there, but he does have the moments that John's just said he didn't want to see, which is not bozo moments, but like where he tries to do a bit more than he needs to do. He takes a bit more time on the ball than he needs to, and then he could kind of lose the ball or have like some shaky moments, right? Of Saliba I've seen. Whereas Gabriel, like I can think of one moment in the last maybe 6 or 7 months where he conceded that goal at Newcastle where he gets a little push in the back from Altamada. But then I don't even think about that as the first memory because he scores the winning goal and he gets you the 3 points. So like, I just think that my point beyond just the centre-back pairing is as a back five unit, I can't think of many better across different leagues. Like there might be a better goalie one-on-one, maybe Courtois or something, but Raya's good enough. He's really, really good to do a more than better job than most goalies. And then if you take your centre-backs and then Calafiori this season has been playing off his nut and Timber's just Timber, man. Like he's just Ronsil. He's going to do every single time what you expect him to do. And then now he's growing in attack as well. So you've got a good shout for best back five, to be honest, across all the leagues.
Versatile as well, because Calafiori, he's been left back, but his primary position is centre back. Same as Timber, right back, centre back. So the ability to mix and change is I don't think I've seen anything like this in a while. Yeah,
and bro, to be honest, their backup, the backups do that too. Mosquera can play right back and centre back, and Hincapi can play left back and centre back. White can play right back and centre back. It's pretty much only Skelly who's kind of being shoveled into left back. But I agree. I think eventually he's going to move midfield. Yeah, he's going to move midfielder later on. But I will say
that actually trust Arteta to put Skelly in midfield long term and actually trust him to be a partner to Rise.
I think you can guarantee that.
The issue that you've got with him is that you might end up being good enough at left back that Arteta just says, let's just stick with this. We don't need to push you elsewhere, right? We all saw what happened with Trent trying to go into the centre of midfield, right? It did not work very well in the games that we saw, right? I'll say I'm not putting Skelly anywhere near on that level because obviously Trent's decorated, and as much as Liverpool fans want to hate him and this, that, and the other, he's one of the best fullbacks this country ever produced. So I'm not going to discredit him. But from the point of view of like, if he plays well enough at left back, maybe left back is where you go long term, right? Because you've got to say that him and Calafiori offer something very different, right? Calafiori can run, he can do the overlapping, he can bang a goal in from wherever he needs to as well. But when it comes to that dribbling ability and being able to kind of go marauding into the midfield and beyond, Skelly's kind of one of one in our team, or at least on that left-hand side, because I was about to say in our team, but it looks like Timber's able to do that now as well. Like he just grabs the ball and just runs forward for ages. And I'm thinking, Timber, what the fuck are you doing, mate? There's a massive gap behind you. Kind of forgetting that Saka actually will go back and fill that gap if he needs to. And actually, the fullback position is where Saka came from. So these men are kind of comfortable in their spots. So I think Lewis Skelly might end up actually playing himself out of that centre mid role just because he's really good at left back. But I'd be really happy at some point in the future to see him kind of take up that Odegaard mantle as either one of our eights or even somewhere in the 10, because that dribbling ability is honestly, I'm getting moved by it. I know that it's a short sample size and he doesn't get the ball that often to be able to do it, and he doesn't even start that often to do it. But from what I've seen of him, man, I feel like there's something God-given about that, his ability to just drag the ball with him and take it wherever he wants to go.
I think the one problem is it's a problem with the top 5-6 teams is the youth products, because they've been here from academy days, they think they can just put them wherever they want on the pitch. They don't treat them like signings as we have to treat him like they're the guy. Like, like no worry.
Riley and them, man.
Yeah, like no worry. Any other team, he'll be starting every game because of the talent level. But because of Arsenal and that he's always been there and have other signings, he'll be a bench player for the next few years. Like Kobe now, and any other team, he'll be starting. But because he's been with us since academy days, we can put you on the bench. We can give you time to develop and earn your way into the team. But if there were fresh signings, he'll be starting every game. So it's just the biases of academy products to signings.
And don't get me wrong, I think we will have our hearts broken at some point in the next 3 years when one of those players decides, I've got to go and play, because there are always players that do that, and I don't hold it against them at all. But I do think Arsenal fans will get their heart broken on one of these kind of younger players. We've got a few. I think Dalman is still young enough where we can send him out on loan if we need to, if he really, really wants to play, and this, that, and the other. But I'm more worried about the ones that are a little bit further along, just because a lot of the players that we've got in our team now are not actually that old. Like if you think of Declan Rice,
relatively young squad.
He's going to be knocking around for at least another 4 or 5 years in our team. You think of Odegaard, kind of the same thing. If injuries kind of avoid him for as long as they can. You look at Zubimendi, he's not very old. You look at Calafiori, he's not that old. You look at Timber, he's not that old. And sure, they can all fall off at any time, but really, the next 3 to 5 years should be their prime in terms of their, the traditional ages that we keep in our head as the primes. So I do think we will get our hearts broken on one of them, but I think that, peak Man United days, unfortunately, you also had to go through the same kind of thing too. Like all teams do, when you have a team that is settled and good and young enough, you are going to get disappointed on some of those academy products.
Yeah. It's
so
like Real Madrid.
It's like
Real Madrid. The academy's there to sell off players and maybe supplement the first team. It's just what it is when you're fighting for Champions League and Premier Leagues. It's just a game.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's going to be uncomfortable either way, Johns, because either way you sell the young players and people are upset, or you make a ballsy move, like, for example, Sir Al did with the class of 92, and he just flushed like the established players in the squad that people couldn't imagine being sold, like the Inces, the Kanchelskis, the players that were in their way. He got rid of them. So the other option is, at some point, if you start seeing Dowman is progressing too quickly and he's looking amazing, or Wanyeri, I'm not saying looking at Saka, I'm saying you go to Odegaard and say, get out of it, mate. You go to Trossard and you say, get out of it, mate. You go to the players that are in the way that you think they can become better than, and you just get them out. So and then that will upset fans. So it's a tough call either way, right? You just got to see if they're good enough, they will make Arteta make that horrible decision. If they don't quite get there in his mind, they unfortunately will be the recipients of the boot, and they will Smith Rowe. They'll go out somewhere and it will make fans upset, but there's nothing you can do about it. Either way, it's going to be tough, but it should be a good end result for you. Either they're so good that they become your star boys in the Saka mold and they take you and you have your class of 92 season, because it's crazy when you think about the number of youngsters you've got coming through. It's endless almost, right? The ones that are so good. Or you get a better Odegaard, you get a better Calafiori, you get a better Trossard or whoever else is in their positions, and you still win. Like, hopefully it's a win-win for you.
And the last thing, because I know we're probably spending too long on the Arsenal segment, but the last thing I will say about it is that I think one of the things that shocked me really about the depth that we've been able to create is that it is usually quite hard to convince players who are starting for a pretty good team. If I give an example of Hincapié, right? Like, he was starting and arguably the best defender that they had at Bayer Leverkusen, who were a really good team and won the league not long ago. To convince a player like that to come to Arsenal, knowing that we've got a settled backline and you're probably not going to get in the team very frequently, I just feel like Arteta has an ability to be able to show new players, young players, whoever they are, you will get a chance in this team, and whoever is good enough will be the one that wins it. And I think he's shown in the history of him being at Arsenal, he's willing to get rid of our best players, right? He did it with Aubameyang. He did not shy away from saying, you know what, you don't fit into the mold, we're getting rid of you. I'm not saying that Ramsdale was one of our best players, but he was a good player and he got rid of him without a thought. But at the same time, he's also shown the other way around. Like, I know everyone wants to get on Martinelli's back, try to support as much as I can, but from the Arteta perspective, Arteta has gone and said, you know what?
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm going to trust in you. Yes, I'm going to buy Eze, but you're still going to start. You're still going to play a lot. Yes, you're going to rotate a bit with Trossard, because I'm not just going to sit here and see us thinking, but deliver. But at the same time, I'm going to put faith in you, and I think that must build faith for new players coming in as well as the young players. So overall, I think we've got the right squad, and I agree with you 100%. It will be for the betterment of the team, but it will be sad regardless if we have to see one of our young players leave us eventually.
Yeah, I mean, to throw in some IO props since he's not in, because I feel like he would be in here saying Arteta hasn't given Nwaneri's and, Skelly this season the chances necessary. You've also got to think about it in that lens of what Nash said about Kobe. It may be a system thing. It may be a style thing that prevents those players getting a chance, and it hurts because, like with Kobe, we've got one, you've got 3 or 4, right? With Kobe, is bad enough. Like we're all flying off the handle every week when we don't see Kobe in the lineup, right? Because we know how good he is. But yeah, you're going to have to trust the manager ultimately, and they will die on their sword if they win. Like our manager has been recently, we can still moan about Kobe, but it's not going to be.
Yeah, we can't argue
fighting
right
against
now.
all the positive. Where you can't, the vim can't be there because we're winning, and the midfielders like Casemiro. I saw some stat about him that since he's played, we've only conceded a few goals, and when he doesn't play, we concede bucket loads of goals. So there'll be loads of different ways to look at it, but ultimately, as long as your team develops, and like you said, Nash, the academy is not only there to fill your first team, it's also there to bring money in. You've been pretty stinky at selling, but hopefully if you've got very good players, selling will be
only
better.
Chelsea sells. I don't know how they do it, but only Chelsea seems.
Well,
to
I
sell
mean,
them.
no, Man City have been doing it.
Yeah, Man City as well.
They pretty much sold all of them. But what I would say is, I'm not going at Io at all on this point, but just look at how old Nwaneri is. Right? What's he, 19?
He's still young.
Right?
Is he
He's
19?
still played quite
18.
a lot from us, right? Yeah, 18, 19, right? He's played a lot for us so far. I know
And
that he's not Saka.
Team.
Exactly. He's not Saka where we're in 4th or 8th floundering and we've just got no choice but to play this guy because he's the best thing that we've got. We've got a good settled team and he's been getting minutes in that team, man. Like he played for us last season as much as, we feel like he didn't play enough and this, that and the other. He's playing for us in a few games here and there like this season so far. And I think he'll get more and more minutes when it comes to all the cups that we're in at the moment, because we haven't even started the FA Cup yet. Champions League hasn't fully popped off yet. Carabao is still going along. We've got loads and loads of Premier League games and we're getting into the December period, which is going to be disgusting for all of us, I think. He's going to get more minutes, right? And so I think if he's got a bit of patience, I'm hoping that he'll stay here and realize that he's got time. He's going to get his opportunities to prove it, and Arteta's a fair guy, and he's going to give him those chances. Same goes for Marzu Skelly. Dowman, still early. My man's 15 or 16.
Yeah.
I don't want to see I'll be honest with you, for his sake and for ours,
I don't want to see a 15,
16-year-old start
another year
frequently for a title challenging team. That is a recipe for disaster. And he's a young guy, man. I know that he got pens off of Joe Linton and these man, but at some point he's going to get wrecked, right? Playing this many games against these physical, grown men, he's going to get wrecked, and we need to be careful with that. Man. Exactly. I
also think another problem is obviously England's under 21s and they've won a lot, so people expect these guys to be starting for top clubs, and that friction is just. In their minds, they think they should be starting for the big clubs. So I was like, there's just no solution to this.
There is definitely an element of that. I think
Foden's 25. He still can't get a consistent start at Man City, where he's won the fucking treble and all these titles that they keep telling me about.
He's not starting
the whole time. I'm not saying that we should do that by any means, right? Don't get me wrong. Let's be honest, we've seen this happen with other players before, and when it comes to the physicality of this league, you can go from being a starter playing all the time to being wrecked and having to sit on the bench all day long. We've seen it happen with Jack Wilshere. We've seen it happen with other players too. Let's slow our roll and trust the manager.
And the thing is, some of these young G's, do we know if they're actually long term, they're gonna make it to the top, or they're gonna be like Adnan Januzaj, 2 season flash in the pan, and then they just regress to the actual level? We just don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Federico Makeda and them, man.
Yeah, it's when you're 18 to 23, you just don't know if this is a spike in form or if this is your level. There's just no way to know.
Yeah, we do as football fans, and definitely English Premier League football fans, got to chill on the youngsters, man. Like Dalman does look amazing prospect. You're going to joke with me, Johnson, about that word, but he does look like an unbelievable prospect. But everyone needs to relax. He's 15. He doesn't need to be getting more game time. He needs to be passing his GCSEs. He needs to deal with his upcoming growth spurts that he's got. He'll be doing amazing if he's knocking around that squad in 18 months, 2 years time, and getting game time. That would be amazing. But the examples you guys gave, Skelly, Wanyeri, they're already ahead of the curve. You don't need to try and build that curve even crazier with a 15-year-old. Like you've got to bleed him in properly. And like you say, there's so many variables, man. Like let's be honest. There's so many things that require a player becoming a Saka or becoming, a Cole Palmer, or becoming a player that rises through an academy and is amazingly successful. We got to chill a little bit on him and let him have cameos here and there and let him play games.
I need one shout out in the chat. I've seen a guy, Anas Fazil 11, saying no Arteta Yahoo ball, guys, please. I'm sorry, brother. We're in it for the long haul. Get used to it, because
and I'll say, the only
keep on seeing it all day long, bro.
Yeah, the only elite team I can think of that's actually entrusted their young G's is Barcelona, and that's mostly because of financial constraints. Because they're in the hole abysmally. They have no choice but to go to the academy. Everyone else, a properly run institution, the young G's don't come through till they're 22, 23. So this is an aberration.
And look at what's happening to Gavi, Pedri, and these man. Like, bro.
Yeah, Gavi
these days is hard, man. These men have got spaghetti legs at this point in time, and they're young guys.
After the season, he's finished. And now Lamine Yamal.
Lamine is a different.
I think those are some extracurricular activities. Those are.
You can Lamine. Okay, Ansu Fati, you got given the 10 after Messi.
That's a good example. He's been wrecked. Yeah,
exactly. They played him too much. They had no choice, and now look where he is.
Yeah, but and as Faisal's true, big you up. That obviously Arsenal fans do still want better football attacking wise, right? We need none
to
of
talk
us
about
rival fans and
get the hell out of here.
Man, is it sustainable to win a league playing this negative? Is it sustainable to win a league playing this negative? I'm just curious.
Did you watch Chelsea for the last 20 years, mate?
Well, no, look, but that's been a while since they've won that way.
We've got to have a nasty side to us too, right? And yes, until the wheels fall off, people are going to be crying that we need to play better, more attacking football.
No, not even better. There's something more structured.
And that's fair enough. And I think you will see that when we play against certain teams and we have some lineups, we'll be able to do that. I mean, if you watch the game against Atletico, bro, we were not negative. Like, we pumped the life out of them. And,
that's fair.
That can happen against other teams too. I'm not saying that we're going to do it every single week, but at the same time, just bear in mind, like, the league that we're playing in right now. Yes, we may have revived. We may have revived set-piece football. Fine. I saw some Liverpool journalists, by the way, saying that Arteta was trying to take credit for set-piece football coming back, which was absolute bollocks. But
you never said that.
May be trying to emphasize it and using it to our advantage. But don't get me wrong. Everyone else has learned quickly as well. Man, Michael Coyote is throwing in those fucking long balls, those long throws, bro. Like, we ain't going to be the only one that's going to be benefiting.
The long ball treatment the last few games, and
I can't remember. I don't know if you guys said this at the same time. I'm pretty sure you did. But there was a period where I was fucking hating watching football because of the Pep style that everyone was playing out from the back. I saw Lewis Dunk getting on the ball 15 times more than strikers for Brighton, trying to like short balls like this, like tiki-taka stuff. You're Lewis Dunk, bro. This is not for you. And I'll be honest with you, I'm liking at least seeing different style come back into football. Obviously, I would prefer that it's not just all one style and then all another style.
Yeah, it's a different way to attack the game.
I prefer a bit more variety. Exactly. And I think that, people will be rewarded for differentiation at a certain point. I think you've seen that from Iraola. You're seeing that from other teams as well that are coming in with different ways of playing. I think you will be rewarded, but at the same time, it's a competitive industry. And if you as a manager are looking and seeing, okay, the most successful team at the moment or the team that's winning the most is playing a certain type of football, you're likely to say, okay, what can I learn from that? Okay, you've got a set piece coach, I'm going to hire one. Okay, you've got a long throw coach, I'm going to hire one. these guys are learning from each other. They do so much data and research like on each other now that you do see trends come out in football. And I'm by no means saying that Arteta has set any trend, but I think they're all learning from each other the same way that Arteta stole from Pep, from the way that Maresca stole from Pep, you know, that loads of managers stole from Fergie.
Arteta is more forward thinking. He brought back the side of the game that was ignored the most. Set pieces, corners, that's like 25% of the game, and most managers ignore that part of the game. And he's found a way to give himself an edge, so you can't knock it.
No. We're giving the wrong credit. We're attributing the wrong credit to the wrong people, right? So we need to give credit to Arteta for perfecting Njova or whatever that wanker's name is. Let's give those guys credit for perfecting those things. Right?
Everyone else has corners every game. They all do the same tactic.
We can't act, like Arteta didn't even bring that. Like he didn't say it, so I'm not saying what you said, Johns, because I'm sure he didn't say that, right? But I've seen a whole bunch of things talking about how Klopp was. So we should give credit to Klopp on this, right? For once, this is a unicorn settings. I'll give him credit. He brought actually loads of set pieces back, right? He scored at one point like a vast majority of his goals from set pieces. He brought in
40.
He brought in the long throw twat. Remember when there was the long throw specialist and they were all cussing him about that? He brought that guy in, right? So the idea of Arteta being like a revolutionary guy on this is not true. But what he has done is he's spotted an opportunity. He's got good people in who are like, as much as I called him a wanker just now, who's obviously very good at his job and at his set pieces that he's focused on, and he's nailed it. And then he's gone and bought players that can execute it. So you've got to give him credit for being, I guess, the visionary behind what type of football he wanted to start including in his style. And then I think we also have to just say, it's not like we joke as rival fans, but it's not like Arsenal only look to score set pieces. They just happen to score set pieces and the other stuff isn't quite coming together. And then, but on the odd days recently, right, against Atletico and stuff like that, it has come together. And then you start to see it's not just set piece but it's a very nice backup. It's a very nice backup that you've got in the tuck. You've got Harambo just sitting there that you know that you can throw in corners and long throws and whatever, and you can score from them. If you're struggling to score from another way, I would love that. And when we've been doing it recently, we're celebrating it, right? So you want to be well-rounded, but I do think he's trying to do that. He's just, unfortunately, some of those other fluid parts, which, by the way, are probably the hardest parts of football, haven't quite come together. But who knows? Bring Kai Havertz back, maybe, get Gyökeres on the bench. Maybe the fluid football parts.
It's going to lead to beautiful football. Oh, my God.
He's more fluid than Gyökeres, that's all I'll say.
No, he is, bro. I see Kai Havertz playing. That guy's got
Man has said Kai Havertz is going to bring us the beautiful
He's way
football.
more fluid than Swedish Lukaku, I'm telling you now. Anyway, let's go on to the prediction side, guys. Let's go on to the prediction. We talk way too much about Arsenal, considering there's only one Arsenal man here, right? We can't justify this shit. Let's go on to the preview segment then, right? Before we do that, I'll give an update on the prediction league. So we had quite a few movements. Yeah, no, I know, Nash, but relax. You got some points. So this week, Ray is at the top, or Razor is at the top, 33 points, 4 correct scores. Johns moves down to second, 32 points, 5 correct scores. Io's looking a bit ropey, bro, for all that chat he was given. In third, 31 points, 5 correct scores. Then Reese is in fourth with 30 points, 5 correct scores. Kem's in fifth. Love to see it. I'm coming for him, mate. 30 points and 4 correct scores. I'm in sixth, 27 points and 3 correct scores. Nash, you've reached the 20s, bro. Well done. 20 points and 1 correct score. Well done, bro. And like I mentioned earlier,
only you got your predictions in one time, on time, mate.
And I know, but my predictions, those scores, I could have done some business.
Yeah, I mean, your actual predictions when you get them in, they're not terrible, and I think you'd probably be ahead of me because I've had some stinkers recently. But the only news flash before we get into the previews is Kem Larden has not sent through his predictions, and we're obviously doing the show now. No, he's on holiday, but he knew to send the predictions in, so he's not getting an excuse. Yeah, he's we're deciding based on what if he actually sends them through, whether he gets any points at all or whether he sacrifices this week. So if he does, you can make up some ground, Nash. So let's get our United. Let's get the United duo over Liverpool. That would be beautiful. But let's get into the previews then. We'll start with Burnley Arsenal, 3 p.m. kickoff. Since Razor's not here, I'll give his prediction first. He's gone 3-0. Johns, what's your prediction for this game? Arsenal.
I think we'll do. I think it'll be 2-0 Arsenal. I'm not going to say much about it. I think Burnley are one of the newly promoted teams that look the ropiest, right? So I do think they're still in the race to go down, let's say. So I think we'll get through it comfortably. But again, I'm imagining that their manager's not going to come out and say, you know what, let's just go for it against Arsenal. I imagine they're going to say, okay, let's see what we can nick here and there and see if we can come away with the 3 points if we can. So I don't think it's going to be some like Leeds game where we batter them 5-0 or whatever. I think it's going to be a bit harder than that, but I still believe that we'll go out there and win 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. I think Burnley are definitely, they're looking like the worst of the promoted teams. But to be honest, all the promoted teams look way better than the last couple of years, so we've got to be thankful for that.
I saw Leeds. I was like, oh.
Even Burnley, man, they've had a couple of decent games, and they're not a terrible team at all. They obviously gave us a bit of a scare at Old Trafford as well, and took Liverpool to the last minute.
Old Trafford, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, not recently. Come on, man, we've been good. But
3-point collectors.
Exactly, for 3 weeks in a row, and it's going to be 4. 2-0. I think that's fair. I think a lot of 2-0s actually for this segment. Io's gone 2-0 as well. Reese has gone 3-0, so he's gone with the same scoreline as Razor. Kem obviously blank, and then I've gone 2-0. I agree, man. I think Burnley a handyman. I think you'll win, and I think there is a chance you could win really comfortably. So I'm not shocked to see people going 3-0. But I think 2-0 is a safe scoreline for you guys. Probably a set piece in there, but also probably, it's going to bounce off Gyökeres's arse or his cock or whatever, some other part of him, and he's going to score a jammy goal. And I reckon you'll get the win. But I don't think it'll be a steamroll. But I think you guys are just too strong, and I can't see how Burnley are going to be able to get through that defense, man. I think if it was maybe in the relegation scrap late in the season, the crowd might get behind them and it could make it a tough game. But, first few days of November with you guys sitting way top and Burnley kind of comfy, I think you'll win. Nash, what's your prediction on this one?
I went for 2-0 because I just don't see Arsenal conceding. But in terms of the Burnley, I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, like the bravery of Bayern to get Company as their manager off of the Burnley run. It's just, it just tells you the league, other leagues have some different information than we have. But yeah, Arsenal, 2-0.
Yeah, I don't know what information they have, bro. I have to be honest. On that one, I swear they went for like about 10 managers and they couldn't get...
Okay, yeah, it's not really balls if you got rejected by 5 people, but at the same
it
time...
still is.
It's working okay for them, though.
Yeah, it still is.
14 out of 14
they're looking pretty good, bro.
Yeah, 14 out of 14
and Kane.
Yeah, Musiala coming back as well. He's got that special medicine to come back from a broken leg in like 2 months. Unreal scenes.
The juicing, bro. The juicing.
But it's fine, man. We allow it. All right, let's go on to the next game then. So it's United away at Forest. It's also 3 p.m. We haven't got an early kickoff this week, so that's a bit weird. But yeah, we'll have to be flicking through. So we're heading to the City ground. Sean Dyche, I think it's his first home game, right, in the league. He's already had one game in Europa and one game away. So Razor has gone 3-1 Man United. So he's got on the hammer and pipe train. I love to see it. John, what's your prediction on this one?
I hate to do this to you guys.
You're going to fucking say defeat, aren't you?
What the hell, man?
No. I'm going for a 1-1. And the only reason I say this is because it is at Forest Ground, right? So not an easy place to go. No. Fair enough. I'm not saying it's like fucking Old Trafford, but again, don't be calling Old Trafford like a fortress recently because you've been fucking shite there up until the last 3 weeks, man.
The only team that's beaten us there.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. But anyway, my point in saying all of that is that they've got Dyche in, right? So you're going to say, okay, defensively they're going to be relatively solid, right? They've got. Let's take Ange out of the picture. Let's take the madness of Marinakis out of the picture. Their defenders are not bad. They've got a decently good goalkeeper. Exactly. They've got a good squad. They've got a decently good goalkeeper. They've got Murillo and Milinkovic at the back, who are both pretty handy. Right. They've got Nico Williams, who I've heard some Forest fans saying has been their best player this whole season. Like they've got some options. They don't look horrible from a defensive point of view when you look at their squad on paper. And I think Dyche is going to get a lot out of that defense. I think going forward, they're shaky, but they've got some tools here and there. Was it Hutchinson and whoever their other? I can't remember who their other signing is, but like in terms of their attacking going forward, they've got some decent players. I think they got McAtee from Man City as well. So they're not god awful when it comes to going forward. They just probably need to bed those players in. And then don't forget that they've got the man himself, Chris Wood, up top, who can bag a goal or two, mate. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to be as easy. There is a piece of me that says Man United are going to win this game and they're going to win it clearly. But from the point of view of not getting ahead of myself, Man United have been playing well recently, but it's not all roses everywhere. You're going to have hard games, and I think that this is those surprising ones, just not as easy as you think it is. One for a 1-1, and I'm not going to lose. I just don't think it's going to be an easy smash over victory, especially when you've got Sean Dyche there. He's a Nottingham boy as well, mate. He's a Nottingham boy. He's from there. He's going to get that crowd bumping.
Got pressure on him too because of that overlap episode where he said that he would get more points than Amram, which at the time was probably fair. But yeah, I know the media have made a lot about that episode ahead of this game. All right, a draw's not that crazy, I don't think. Io's also gone for a draw, actually. He's gone 2-2. So yeah, bit of a theme there. Reece has gone 2-1 United. And I've also gone 2-1 United. So I think we'll get the dub. But I think it's going to be, like you mentioned, it's going to be a nervy game at points. Because the City ground isn't some massive fortress, but it's also, from what I've heard anyway, a ground where the fans are pretty loud and they get behind the team. And I think having a new manager, there is a possibility they get a new manager bounce, and he's probably a much better fit for the squad than Ange was before, definitely, and he's got a chance of coming in and doing something decent. Nash, what's your prediction on this one?
I went 2-0 United. I was like, the Sean Dyche thing, I was like, yeah, give a new manager bounds, but he's too pragmatic in his approach, so I don't see them being very attacking. So they'll want to stop the bleeding. I see us more being on the front foot, so yeah, 2-0 United.
All right, so we've got mostly United wins or draw, which is not that bad, to be honest, for Amram levels of recent times. All right, let's go to Spurs-Chelsea. I guess this is the big game of the week. Chelsea have got a pretty good record at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Stadium, so it'll be interesting to see what the predictions are on this one. Razor's gone 2-1 Spurs, which I'm sure he did through gritted teeth. John, what's your prediction on this one?
All right, so I've heard obviously Chelsea fans. I believe they always slap Spurs at White Hart Lane. And stick yourself on mute for a second while you're doing that, would you? So yeah, I mean, I heard that they usually slap up Spurs at their ground, but I can't get over the fact that Thomas Frank is a really, really good manager. And particularly when it comes to match up 1v1s against other managers, he tends to get the better of them. And I know that Spurs have had some spotty results here and there. They're still kind of figuring things out. But from my point of view, they're going to be a really hard team to beat. And so when you combine that with Chelsea and the weird run that they're on recently and the fact that they've got injuries here and there, they've got red cards here and there, I don't think it's going to be an easy game for them. So I've kind of sat on the fence and just gone for a 1-1. I think it's going to be a cagey one, but there's a piece of me that just doesn't see where this is going to go in terms of a result. So I think they're probably going to come out of it even and go for a 1-1. So yeah, not an exciting prediction by any means, but I just don't think it's going to be easy for either of them to get the win over each other, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense also based on kind of how and Tottenham have been for the most part. I think they have been involved in loads of crazy games like they were under Ange. But I think that makes sense 1-1. All right, what was I gone? I was gone 2-2, so another draw. Reece has also gone 2-2. I've gone 4-2. I've got 3-2 Chelsea. So against what I've just said there. So obviously I must think it's going to be loads of goals in it. I just feel like historically though, Chelsea and Tottenham games are a bit mad. Like even under other managers like Poch and Conte and Tuchel and stuff like that, the games have always been pretty frantic and unpredictable. So I do think Chelsea have got some sort of hoodoo in the same way that Chelsea can't come to Old Trafford and get a win. It seems like they can go to Tottenham Stadium every time, even with Nicholas Jackson up front and get wins. So I'm gonna bank on them getting another win at Tottenham and beating them. Scoring game.
And your mic is still very Optimus Prime. Like, do you want to drop out or change your mic to something else? Like maybe just the one off your computer or something? Because at the moment it's coming through real electronic. You sound like Daft Punk.
All right, you host. I'll come up.
Yeah. All right, go on, Nash. Give me it. What do you reckon is going to happen in this dirty Chelsea Spurs game, mate?
I was thinking, I was like, yeah, London derby. Both teams will be very physical and up for it. But I was looking at the managers, and they're both very pragmatic. I don't want to say cowards, but they're not going to be really up for it. So yeah, they're going to be very attacking. So I'm thinking 1-1, same as you. I just don't see this being an exciting game. It's going to be a bit of a damp squib. London derby. And both managers are a bit under pressure. So, yeah, they're going to be very conservative in their approach to the game. 1-1.
Abercrombie Kids is bringing the cheer all holiday season and the gifts too. No matter how long their wish list is, there's always room for just one more. Whether it's a new winter coat, an extra pair of jeans, or cozy matching sweat sets, get gifting with looks they've been waiting for all year. Shop Abercrombie Kids in the app, online, and in stores.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I definitely I just feel like they're both those kind of teams and those kind of managers. So I'm not surprised at all that a lot of people have gone for the kind of draw result. If we move on now to the next one, the tasty one, Liverpool against Aston Villa. It's at Anfield. Liverpool coming off the stinkiest run that they've had in a long time. Aston Villa coming off of, surprisingly, a very good run recently, actually, up until obviously the game in the Carabao Cup, which I think they were pretty good in, but they just couldn't get past City in the end.
Everyone forgets, I think good evening is a good manager.
Exactly. And they're finally starting to get a few players firing here and there. I think, obviously Ollie Watkins did not have a great start to the season, but they've got a very physical midfield, right? They've got people like John McGinn who's throwing himself around. They've got people like Amadou Onana, who is an absolute beast. They've got Morgan Rogers, who... Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, in terms of physicality, I don't think you get a better central midfielder than that. And then, of course, you've got people like Morgan Rogers. You've got a few other players here and there. And apparently, Matty Cash is a baller. He's a tech man out here. So
I don't know where that came from.
It's going to be a sticky one, bro. I don't know, man. Like, Matty Cash has had... He's always, I feel like, had a good technical side to his game. But I feel like he drops off for like long periods of time and you don't hear from him or see from him at all. And I think he's had some issues with Unai, really, where Unai's kind of like not favoured him always. There's been some competition in his position. So it's a tough one, but let's go through Razor's result first. So he's gone through, probably not surprised, gone a win. So that's mad. The level of stickiness is going to continue. I'm up next. Against my better judgment, I'm going for a 2-1 Liverpool win, unfortunately.
Really? Why?
I think at some point it's got to end, and at some point Slot has to kind of wake up to a certain extent. So I'm going for a Liverpool win. I'm not confident in it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like I know for a fact that Liverpool are going to win. But I don't know how much longer it can go on, right? And they've got, not to quote Liverpool fans here, they've got too good a squad and too good a team.
It's too good,
to keep being crap. To just keep being crap. Surely someone's got to say, you know what, you lot are playing like shit, but I'm going to figure this out by myself, right? Whether it's Salah, Isak, whoever, someone surely got to pull the rest of them up by their collars and say, you know what, if you lot can't do it, I'm going to do it. So I'm going for that, but let's see. I mean, Io's gone for the same as me. So Io's gone for a 2-1 Liverpool win. Again, I don't know his reasoning for that, but I'm going to imagine it's going to be similar to mine. Reese has gone for, again, a 2-1 Liverpool win. Kem has, obviously he's gone for nothing because he's an idiot, but I'm imagining he's probably a coward and is going to go for a Liverpool loss because he's that kind of guy. He's setting standards and all this bollocks.
Yeah, man, he doesn't want to be, doesn't get a heartbreak.
Yeah, clearly. He probably won't even watch the game, fucking plastic fan. And I think it sounds like you're back now. You're not Optimus Prime anymore. So why don't you go ahead and give us your prediction, mate, for Liverpool Villa?
Yeah, apologies about that. I don't know what was going on with my mic. Yeah, I've gone 2-2, and I was so tempted to go good evening, Emery, to just stick it on slot, but they've got to be able to shit house a draw at Anfield against someone. And I feel like Villa is probably a team where, you know, you've got Sancho getting brought on and then taken off as a sub in the same game. You've got right backs and centre backs being their best players. I guess the only hope is that midfield of Onana, Kamara, and Rodgers is just too powerful for the Liverpool midfield, which, to be honest, I don't think is a crazy shout. Rodgers has been playing a bit better again this season in the last couple of games, and I really like Amadou Onana. He's just an absolute beast when it comes to covering ground, and he's good on the ball. And Kamara is also, again, a really good interceptor and tackler. So I think Gravenberch, if he comes back, is going to have his hands full in midfield. And McAllister's obviously been dropping stinkers week in, week out. But, you know, we've done enough talking on that guy. So I think they're going to have a tough day at the office. And I don't think they'll get a win to turn it around. But I can see them just about getting a draw to address the slide a bit, I guess. But yeah, I was very tempted.
You spoke very highly of Onana there. Do we think we could potentially see another Onana on the back of a Man United shirt at some point in the future?
I don't know what you think, Nash. I would have taken him. We were linked with him before he went to Villa. I would have him.
Easily, he'll be a starting midfielder. And when Bruno leaves next season, I could see Kobe Onana.
You mean in January, right? When you prefer him to leave to go for 100 million to Saudi?
Well, now we're on a good run. I can hold Bruno for 6 months.
No, it's a Casemiro thing, right? Like, he's going to come and take Casemiro's place. He's good on the ball. He covers the ground. He's going to be someone that can cover some of those spaces that a Kobe or a Bruno, a more creative midfielder, can take. I would have taken him, man. I really rate him. I think he got hard done by when he was at Everton, and people were, you know, mocking him and stuff and saying he's not.
But the Everton situation was a shit show.
He was good there too, so I would take him. I would take him, man, and we can salvage the Onana name at United and try and put some respect on it. After that bum who's in Turkey's left.
Typical United fans. You never learn your lesson. You want another Onana.
Do you not think he's good?
You're going to be asking for another Antony.
That's racism, man. That's racism.
Martial and Antony were not enough. You want another Antony. You want another Onana.
Wait, don't put.
The next thing you'll tell me is that you want another Garnacho as well, mate.
No, don't put Tony in with
Garnacho.
Don't put Tony Marshall in with my namesake, the Brazilian. Tony Marshall was class. I'm not having any Martial slander. I'm sorry.
He's 1-1.
I forgot that I'm on the panel with 2 Man United fans. All right, keep going.
But come on. Martial was good as well. We all know he was good. He had injury issues at the end.
He was next up. He was next up, man.
He embarrassed the Liverpool defender. I'll take it. Do whatever you got to do after that.
He did more than that.
Just embarrass Liverpool
like
defenders,
that.
And I will love you. It's all good. No, I'm not even minimizing him to that. You know, my current standpoint is I hate them lot. So anybody that embarrasses Liverpool defenders is good in my books. Keep it going.
He did a few things too when we used to Millie Rock and dance at your stadium as well. So you shouldn't.
I'm not even. I was not even mocking him, and now you man are getting on to me.
Under Solskjaer, bro.
Yeah, you know,
I love that team.
I had Reese the other day sending me videos of bloody Hazard dancing through our defense, and now you're talking about Martial dancing through my defense. All right,
Bro.
fucking enough of this, mate. I'm trying to live in the moment at the moment.
Martial, Rashford, and who should not be named in Marseille.
Yeah.
I could have been the front three. It was there.
Those are the days, man.
Some Premier League clubs are interested in getting him back, unfortunately. So,
I know Chelsea
at some point in the future.
Chelsea won him too, though.
Chelsea could handle the PR hit of bringing him back. Of all the clubs, I think they'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, when you have no morals as a club, it's fine. You do whatever you want. You've got no morals. You break every rule. You sell things to yourself. You sell women's teams. You do all this kind of madness. But, you know, there's no holds barred with Chelsea. Right, Reese, I hope you're listening. There aren't. You know this.
All right, Nash, what's your prediction on the Liverpool game? Because I
nearly went Liverpool 2-1 because of the Anfield situation. But then I thought to myself, was like, some of these big grounds, they're really good for the home team. But when you're going through a tough time, it could end up being your enemy. So I'm saying Villa 2-1, and the hurt gets so much worse for Slot. And Ekitike is going to score one for Liverpool, which would put the effect thing into so
I'd love
more.
to see it.
Oh, I say it 2-1.
That would be beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
Do you know what I want to? I want to hear booing and whistling from the Anfield crowd. That would absolutely make my day.
Is that really the game though?
They're not far away from that. They're not far away from that now. They're not far away from that.
They did it to Trent on the way to winning the title. There's nothing off limits, bro. 6 losses in a row, getting pumped as well. Some booze coming in real soon.
This is the game where they will as well, because they've got Real Madrid in the week, and I don't think they'll boo them. I don't think they're not going to boo if they lose to Real Madrid, because everyone knows Real Madrid are, a legendary team. And then they've got City the weekend after that. And again, I think
this really takey for them.
Yeah, I think this is the game that if Villa wins.
I've heard Liverpool fans saying if he loses the next 3 games, they're slot out. So
I actually don't think they'll sack him. Liverpool don't seem the team to sack a manager like this. I think
don't get me wrong. FSG might not sack him, but 3 more losses in these next 3 games.
Yeah,
Liverpool fans are going to be slot out.
Because
the season's going to essentially at that point, season's over.
Because it's like we're nearly December now, so it's like, they can't afford to lose these games.
8 losses. They're not winning. They're not winning the title with 8 losses. So if they lose to Aston Villa in the Prem and then they lose to City in the Prem, the season's essentially over for them, and they've got to salvage something. They're out of one of the cups already now.
Could they be out of a top 4 race?
And the Champions League. Brother, you guys might have to come in and you might have to be one of the proper heritage clubs alongside of Arsenal in that top 4, mate. Come join us.
They'll still be in the race, because you know what top 4 is like. The teams in 4th and 5th generally have actually a shite loads of losses. So they won't be in the territory that they'll be out of that picture, but they'll be 100% out of the title picture. They'll be right scrapping with us and Spurs and Bournemouth and whoever else.
They'll have to be almost flawless, though. If they lose those 2 Premier games with 8 losses, they're going to have to be almost flawless to get near even the top 4 race. They're not going to be able to lose a lot more than that. Yeah.
They will. But who knows, man? I would love to see it, but I don't know if Villa have the facilities to be able to get these results that you guys are predicting. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping that the big players turn up, because hopefully Ken will be here next week or the week after.
Ken will suicide watch. I want him to suffer.
All right, mental health awareness week and all that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the City game. Low key, this is probably the game of the weekend if you take the branded name of Spurs and Chelsea out, because Bournemouth are absolutely cooking. Semenyo, mentioning cooking, likes a good little shop, do some cooking at home with his wifey, so pick him up.
Video I've seen all week. A lot of think pieces.
What
the Canary
a real
man. Out. Like, go to wholesome foods, do this.
Good time. Man, he's the man of the people, man. I love Antoine Semenyo. You see him in clips playing in the non-league against PK Humble and all that, and now man's...
I know, it's like, bro, I came from nothing, man. I need to save my coins.
What a G. Yeah, but him and Bournemouth turning up to the Etihad, I think this is going to be a humdinger, man. Razor's gone 3-2 City, so he obviously agrees. John, what's your prediction on this one?
I'd like for Bournemouth to win, but I'm going for a 2-1 City win. I just think, I think City are not, they're not looking flawless, don't get me wrong, but I just think Haaland, he didn't score in the last game or whatever it was in the Premier League, and I don't see him doing that twice in a row. So I think he's inevitable, right? He's like Thanos out here. So I don't know what you can do about him. And I think Bournemouth are a decent side defensively, do not get me wrong, but I would definitely say that the attacking part of them is the best part of them. And with Semenyo, this Krupi Junior Don as well is looking fucking class as well. Like, bro, I don't know what they've been doing. Tavernier as well looks really, really good. So, man, I don't know about these guys, but Iraola's got them humming going forward. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to stop City, unfortunately, and Haaland specifically. Like the rest of that team, Reinders, brother. I don't know if any of us put him aside in the season, but we need to have like a January transfer window, like last prediction change. Because if I do that, I need to change immediately. He looks fucking wank.
I told you, I put him as flop of the season.
Yeah.
Remember that? I put him as flop of the season.
I don't know. I mean, if the Liverpool keep playing the way they
but
I don't
that's
think
different.
anybody can win it but
That's
them.
flop of the century, though. Like versus flop of the century. Reinders, flop of the season.
He is.
I put that, bro.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
okay, fair enough.
we saw-
But yeah, you might be a bit of an oracle there because Reinders does not look good.
I think you're being harsh, man. I know what you're saying, but if you play him in a 6 like he's been played in the last couple games,
He's an 8. He's an 8.
He's not a 6. He can't. He's got
He's
no
more of a
defensive
10
now.
He's more of a 10 than
an 8.
But
I mean, if you've got
he's
Kovacic
an 8.
available,
but that's
Kovacic
Pep,
available,
man.
you should not be
That's
playing
bullshit.
him 6. That just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it is Pep. But even when he was playing in the 8 for the let's say 6 games before that, he was not moving me. And off the way that that first game went, we were looking at him thinking, all right, this guy looks like he's the business. I'm not saying that he can't turn it around because he's still not that old, but out of all their signings, he's the one that's probably moving me the least right now. I think Cherky, mate, if he can stay fit and he can stay on the pitch, he looks like he's going to cook for them, and that worries me a little bit. But really, it's just the Haaland show with them at this point in time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if any of their signings really have moved me whatsoever. Even Cherky, I know he's injured all the time. I feel like City have just had an absolute monumental run of stinky transfer windows.
And the thing is, they'll keep going at this. They won't stop.
Yeah, they'll keep going.
No
They'll keep going,
repercussions. No FFP. No nothing.
Well,
Donnarumma looks all right, though.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. He looks
their best signing.
Yeah, but Donnarumma is a world-class goalkeeper. He's a world-class shot stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't love him, but
you don't believe
see,
that.
you have to remember who you're talking to. You are talking to the goalkeeping corner of this podcast. This man does not rate goalkeepers at all, and Donnarumma is not even getting in his mind about who best goalkeeper this.
Dude, I've been watching him since he was signed for AC Milan at 16, man.
And thinks he's wank.
No, I liked him early days when he was at Milan too, but
He's
it was
like
more.
a more aesthetically pleasing goalkeeper.
I don't mind his style.
He's old
I'm
school.
not mad at his style. I don't mind his style. I just think what I saw at PSG. Obviously, if you take out the last 6 months where that whole team was just generational, before then he was pretty ropey for them, man. And that was the first time I looked at him and thought, "What's going on?" Because what I saw before, he was a stereotypical Italian Gigi Buffon regen type guy, which is great. I love that. That's like a proper heritage goalie. But the PSG time, for the most of it, looked a bit weird. But I mean, he's been good for City, so you can't really say too much. But yeah, my jury's out. He gets put in the Courtois and Alisson and Neuer and that kind of realm, and I think he's not quite there. But
he just
I don't think he's up. But I get it.
On his day, he might be. He's got more clangers in him. Yeah, but he's got more clangers in him than any of those 3 goalkeepers, right? Like on his day, he's
the youngest as
damn
well,
near
so.
unstoppable. Yeah, and that's fair. I think maybe it's his face or just how long he's been around in the game. when I look at him, I'm just thinking this guy's must be 35 or something. But yeah, he's still
golden,
super young,
man.
so he could still go on. I was trying to avoid that. But okay, yes, he is bald.
Yeah, and he got his head kicked out as well by some defender.
That's right. Yeah, he's got a scar on his face, like.
Yeah. On his day, like he's up there with any of them, but he needs to have his day more frequently and have a few less bangers. Because at MUFC, he was throwing in some bangers in arguably the most one-sided league in the world.
Fair. I won't argue with you there.
Yeah, so Io's gone 1-0 City. Reese has gone 3-1 City. Kem obviously's got nada. And then I've gone 2-1 City. So I do think City will get a win, but I think it could be one of those games where Bournemouth gets the first goal and Haaland needs to do a monumental comeback to get them the win. But I really think this is going to be a fun watch because this could be like Brentford going to the Etihad, if you remember those days when they got the dub.
Yeah.
It could be like Tottenham in the last few seasons going there and get the dub. Like I could see City having a really rough day as well. And that's not the hater in me. That's just, I think, the matchup of styles. But at the same time, Haaland is just so inevitable, man. It just feels impossible to go against him. Yeah. What have you got, Nash, on this one?
I've gone same as like you guys, 2-1 City. I see Semenyo carrying on his run of form, gets one in, but Haaland to get another two is just inevitable. City can't afford to slip up in this race, so they're going to find a way. 2-1 City.
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, pretty much, I think everyone's gone City win. Yeah, we've all just gone, most of us have gone 2-1, but we all see a tight City win.
We're going to win in the end.
Yeah, literally the last couple of weeks, folks. If you've seen the group chat, normally after every result, we send a little update in the group chat. And everyone gets a couple of points here and there. But we have been, as a group of lads, on an absolute stinky run. There's been so many ways. Just no points, no updates. We've all absolutely flopped it. So hopefully, we get some more points on the board and we can make this Kem stinker that he's had really count. And I want to see him at the bottom of the table next week, Nash. So come on, lad, we got to do it.
So, can I just make one thing clear on the rules? Yeah. So if he doesn't get his predictions in by the first kick of the first game, he's void for all of them. Yeah.
I thought it was 8 p.m. results. Get your picks in.
No. So
no. So he has to get his picks in to get like the full. He can get correct results and correct score lines. But now if he gets his scores in. What was it, by the first kick of the first game or what?
Yeah. So he's missed the deadline. So the maximum he can get now, if he does send it through to me, is just the result points. So 1 point per game. That's the max he can get. If he doesn't send it in before 3 p.m. tomorrow, which I think is the first kickoff.
Oh, he's caught live.
He's caught
live. There's 3 p.m. kickoff, so he's got 5. I was hoping there was going to be like an 11:30, one of the Klopp specials or something, 12 o'clock or something real early. Flip's sake.
He's got a chance. If he looks at his phone and he gets them to me before 3 p.m., he can at least get a point per game. But who knows? Let's hope he is preoccupied. But yeah, anyway, let's wrap up the pod here, guys. Crazy episode for the three of us. We've gone long. It's 2 hours plus. Yeah,
we had a good run.
Great
pod. It's been a good one. Yeah. For those of you watching, like I said, like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Shout out everyone who's tuned in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, everyone.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.